Today I'm doing a tier list. This is the Gen X dad movie tier list. I've made this video so that if any of you cinephiles or you film bros want to have a movie night with your dad, maybe you're trying to feel more connected culturally to him, then this will be useful. So the tiers here to help are cold one tier at the top. If the movie is here, then crack a cold one, sit back, relax, you're in safe hands. Firm handshake, man, champ, you did good. Cross arm pose, if you put this on, your dad will walk past the TV, cross his arms, stand with his feet shoulder width apart, and watch. He may even approach the couch, he maybe will sit down, but he'll get back up eventually. Heading to the shed, self-explanatory, you messed up, kid. And belt, you're getting it. You really got to avoid this tier, because I don't want to see any of you get hit. Up first is Ridley Scott's high-tech cyber-noir Blade Runner. Harrison Ford is Rick Deckard, a Blade Runner whose job is to hunt down replicants, which are bioengineered humans, essentially fake humans. Pretty heady stuff. A lot of gorgeous visuals in this. The Neon Stokes aesthetics of this world are truly stunning. Unfortunately, I can't say the plot matches the level of the visuals, is a little style over substance for me. I found it dragged on in parts and was checking my watch, waiting for it to end. I'm probably not the first guy to think that, as this did get mixed reviews at the time, but it did get improved upon with the director's cut. Ultimately, the stunning visuals do a lot to keep this movie in iconic status, and if you gotta watch it with your dad, you're probably gonna get a firm handshake. The second is Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. Man, what a step up. I like Blade Runner, but I love this. Epic scale. A movie made to be watched on the big screen, and I know I sound like a lot of people right now, as this is one of those semi-mainstream, cinephile movies that many watch when they start getting into cinema. I'm one of those people, but they watch it and love it for a reason. The visuals are unironically breathtaking. They expand the world Ridley Scott imagined and somehow make it feel even more techno. I don't think we're ever going to see a movie like this again. It was released during the sequel mania of the 2010s. They gave $150 million to an auteur director like Villeneuve to make a sequel to a movie that didn't even have that strong of a following in the first place. Blade Runner is not exactly Star Wars. Then the movie flops. Not a great outcome. But I respect the fact that the studio at least took the risk because we ended up with this masterpiece. Roger Deakins won his first Oscar for cinematography with this one, and it's so deserved. Many of his shots in the film have taken on lives of their own, whether it be through memes or reaction images. Gosling and Harrison Ford bring the massive power that stars like them offer. Ford seems to actually care about this movie, unlike in others like Indiana Jones 4, Indiana Jones 5, Star Wars 7, Ana de Armas, and surprisingly, scene-stealing performance from Jared Leto also contribute to the acting department. I gotta stop glazing this now and rank it. If it wasn't obvious already, this one's going in cold one tier. Crack a couple of them, sit back and enjoy. Next up is the Oceans trilogy from Steven Soderbergh. To kick things off, let's talk about Ocean's 11, which is one of the coolest movies ever. You've got Matt Damon, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Bernie Mac, Casey Affleck, Elliot Gould, and even Don Cheadle delivering a hilariously awful British accent. I thought it was great, but I digress. Professional thief Danny Ocean gets released from prison, heads to Vegas to scope out a potential casino job. This leads to an elaborate scheme to steal the vault of the 3 biggest casinos in Vegas, all with the help from the best thieves around the globe. Why, you ask? Because some rich a-hole is trying to take his missus away. He's doing it all for love. One of the slickest heist movies you'll ever see. A lot of laughs along the way. The edit in this movie I find to be particularly genius, as you have a lot of moving parts in the screenplay and it keeps you exactly where it wants you. You're almost a character in the movie, as you're halfway between knowing what's going on with the heist, but at the same time you're kept at arm's length to keep you on your toes. Just a thrill ride from beginning to end. With as much talent on screen, so many scenes of multiple people all talking to each other, no doubt it must have been a pain in the ass to direct. I thank Steven for doing it, as we get an amazing movie out of it. That's why Ocean's 11 has gotta go in the cold ones tier. Then we got Ocean's 12. Straight away, I'm putting this in belt tier. Not because I don't like it personally, but because trying to watch a meta commentary, hangout, meandering, crazy plot twist sort of movie with your dad just doesn't go well. The movie is driven by the riz of its cast, which they all have in abundance. But the story for a lot of people just isn't there. You gotta be in the right mood for the film. For me, that mood is like a cold night in bed and I just want to hang out with like 12 dudes as they crack wise and I can just doze off to sleep. And that isn't for everyone. I appreciate the swing they took here with this. I loved Vincent Cassel in this, but swings sometimes miss, and for a lot of people, this one missed hard. That's why I gotta put the feelings aside and put this in the belt tier, as I'm putting you in danger by recommending you watch it with your dad. The last flick in the Oceans trilogy is Oceans 13. Man, underrated movie here. The bad taste of Oceans 12 didn't help this one get the same traction as Oceans 11, which is a real shame because there's no reason that so many people haven't seen this compared to Oceans 11. We're back in Vegas, we have a new heel in Al Pacino's Willie Bank, and the team sets the stakes ridiculously high with a revenge plot against an almost Donald Trump style businessman. Maybe we're in for some critical reevaluation in the age of Trump, you know what I'm saying? You also get Susie, known as Eddie Izzard at the time, for a cameo. Pretty great stuff there. They pulled out all the stops to make this trilogy end with a bang, to be honest. I thought this was a legit great ending to a trilogy that's a bit lost to time, as with these two movies, Oceans 12 and 13, they don't get talked about as much in the cinema canon. They're not a highbrow trilogy like Three Colors or the Before movies, or as culturally massive like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, but fuck! Steven Soderbergh managed to make 3 heist movies with absolutely stacked casts, all by the way returning each time, which should just be a feat in itself, and make them all unique in their own way. He even tried something different with 12, and I think that should be celebrated, but I gotta put Ocean's 13 in the firm handshake tier. Matt Damon, CIA conspiracy plots, and even a little bit of romance. The Bourne trilogy was made for dads. To be honest, I don't have much to say about these. They're just so rock solid. It's hard to sort of poke holes in it. When you want a spy movie, you can't go wrong here. They don't try to go super hard. They go for a gritty sort of approach to the globe-trotting spy genre. And I gotta appreciate the hell out of that. I have lots of fun watching the Bourne movies. And if you put these on with your dad, I guarantee you're gonna get a firm handshake. Gonna move on to some Adam Sandler movies. This fucking guy is like crack for the general movie-going audience. To be honest, even for me, a supposed film buff, film bro, I can't get enough of this guy. He's got a real everyman style of comedy that just reaches across all demographics. There's a reason why anytime he pops up somewhere, he's going viral. We just saw that at the Oscars, and no, I'm not gonna put Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, Meyerowitz Stories, or any of his more cinematic kinos on here. I'm ranking dad movies, and for that, I gotta start with the one that everybody knows, everybody loves, Happy Gilmore, boom handshake tier. Adam Sandler doing a sports movie in his Imperial run. You can't go wrong. A lot of laughs to be had with this one, obviously. And that every man becomes a star by standing up to the stuffy fuddy-duddies is a classic Sandler plot. Also, the rest of the cast pulls their weight here, especially Ben Stiller. Rewatching this, he made me laugh so hard playing that demented nursing home assistant tormenting the old people. Crack up stuff. Then I gotta put another Sandler sports movie here. This one represents his 2000s run, which in my opinion is super underrated. He made a lot of bangers in this decade. None more than The Longest Yard. I love this movie so much. It's funny as hell, redonkulous cast, Sandler, Burt Reynolds, Chris Rock, Joey Diaz, Terry Crews, Nelly, Stone Cold, Diesel, Great Khali, even Goldberg shows up to bring the funnies. A lot of stuff is shown in this movie. The mistreatment of prisoners, systemic racism. Hey, they even cured the racism among the prisoners with the formation of the football team. I don't know how well they answer these problems, as I think if this happened in real life, the guards would still not learn their lesson, but Man, Sandler movies aren't real life. He's a bit of an idealist at the end of the day. Longest Yard for me, crack a cold one tier. This one ticks all the boxes I want in a comedy, and I wish more of these so-called cinephiles lowered their brow when it comes to these type of movies. This is what a lot of people watch. We don't all want to sit down and watch all 2 hours and 45 minutes of Stalker, alright? Lastly, I gotta put what most people my age think is the quintessential modern Sandler movie, Grown Ups. Alright, this is where I lose the letterbox users. Cold one tier, man, come on. This is like the last good Adam Sandler hangout movie that didn't feel completely lazy and lacking soul. This movie was poppin' when it came out, and I still see memes and reels of it all the time. It's the culmination of all 5 careers all coming together to make an exercise in riffing. The plot is essentially secondary in this. Unlike Sandler movies of the past like Zohan, Waterboy, Little Nicky, all of these have a lot of plot elements. This one is truly just hanging with the boys, and it was a huge success. Why? Because hanging with the guys is fun. I'm laughing the whole way through this movie. And not to get too deep, but when I was going through a rough patch, I'd get on call with the boys and we'd all watch this and just riff over the riffs. It was a mood booster at the time. My bias is strong with this one, but I guarantee you're cracking a cold one with your dad when you're watching this. Now we have Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. Whoa. The type of dad you have is going to decide whether this is belt tier or cold one tier. For anyone who hasn't seen this, I'm not sure I can describe it better than psychedelic violence with a gun to mass media's head. Oliver Stone at the time was coming off the heels of Platoon, Wall Street, Born on the 4th of July, JFK, The Doors. These were big movies. I don't know how many Gen Z people are even watching Oliver Stone movies these days, but to all cinephiles out there, you gotta watch this guy's work. His visual language, his messaging, he's so influenced and informed by the period, almost to the detriment of it because it feels a bit dated now. But it's a snapshot of the culture at the time in a lot of ways. Natural Born Killers is Stone's most well-known work. I'd say maybe outside of Platoon, and for good reason. Man, this one was controversial. Tarantino credited for the story, but he claimed he walked out of it and hasn't even seen it since. There were claims at the time of people wanting to be the IRL Mickey and Mallory. Copycats if you would. Mickey and Mallory, copycat crimes? What the H is even going on in this film, you may ask? Well, we follow 2 serial killers on the run across the US as they commit heinous act after heinous act, and in the process was propped up and made famous by the 24-hour news cycle. The movie famously has over 3,000 cuts in the edit, which a typical movie will only have 600 to 700. It gave it a bonkers visual language, to say the least, to go along with the violence on screen, and let me reiterate, this movie's violent as hell. Woody Harrelson, Robert Downey Jr., Tommy Lee Jones are the biggest names in this, but the whole cast is stacked. You even get a Rodney Dangerfield cameo as he plays a horrifically abusive dad. If your dad's a no cussin' sort of guy, you're gonna get the belt if you put this on. If your dad is a disaffected, grunge-loving sort of guy, then you'll get a cold one if you put this one on. So I'm gonna have to put it in the middle in the cross-armed pose tier. Shiver me timbers, lads. I hope you've brought your sea legs. Peter Weir's Master and Commander Far Side of the World is up next, and you're gonna need him. In 1805, British ship the HMS Surprise is ambushed by those bloody French off the coast of Brazil. After suffering damage, the Brits escape. Their fates unknown as the French chase after them. I mean, goddammit, does that not sound completely and quite adequately based? Based on the book series, there are no sequels to this. Not one. Fuck off. There are 20 bloody books, and no, I'm not gonna read them. My imagination skills are shot to shit thanks to my For You page. There are no women in this one either, so all you culture warriors can rest easy knowing there's no woke to be seen, you fucking losers. This is essentially a long chase scene with incredible action sequences and great set design, with Russell Crowe at the helm. Man, what an important dad actor he is. I don't know about now, but this guy was box office at the time. And to have such a big star bring you along for the ride, it really helps with the appeal of this movie. It really helps with the appeal of a strictly no-nonsense historical fiction boat movie. When you put it like that, it doesn't sound appealing, but I can guarantee you're going to get a firm handshake if you squiz this one on. I had to put a Jason Statham movie in here. I didn't want to put The Beekeeper or Hobbs and Shaw, Parker, Transporter, the generic Jason Statham flicks, so I've gone with this one, Crank. This movie is insane. It's probably just as insane as Natural Born Killers. It's shot with 2 digital cameras and follows Chev Chelios as a hitman who's injected with a toxin that will kill him if his adrenaline levels drop, leading him to do more and more dangerous acts to keep the blood pumping. This thing goes 100 miles an hour and goes to some truly absurd places. Realism be damned. If I'm wanting an action movie, I want action, I want thrills, and this thing is a thrill ride and then some. I don't know how many people even know about this movie, but it's pretty much IRL GTA in the best way possible. Like Natural Born Killers, if your dad is a straight-laced kind of guy, then you're getting the belt if you put this on. If he's a freaky sort of dude, then you're gonna be getting a beer. So I guess I have to be fair and put this in the cross-armed tier. Here's the Coen Brothers movie your dad's gonna like, unless he's a Big Lebowski sort of dude. The Coen Brothers' modern-day western No Country for Old Men is considered one of the greatest movies ever made. Who the hell am I to disagree with the people who say that? You're not gonna get finer filmmaking than this. Do I think this is the perfect movie that superfans claim it to be? Maybe. I don't know. I've only seen it once. But God damn, is it good. This is gonna go right into firm handshake. What a hell of a ride. Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Tommy Lee Jones give performances of a lifetime. I didn't go into this one knowing much about it, and yeah, like most films, that's for the best. So if you've only seen this through Instagram Reels and TikToks, then you should watch this straight away. Arriving like a bombshell, Todd Phillips' The Hangover was no joke, a revelation. There were comedy movies before this, and then after this. What do you mean? A comedy shot like a real movie? You don't say. Maybe I'm being generous, but I truly think this was a game-changing movie. Completely transformed Bradley Cooper's image. It launched Zach Galifianakis into stardom with one of the best comedic performances of the 2010s. The stardom, which didn't last long in retrospect. Still had my stepdad watching Zach's stand-up special, which was totally not up his alley, but he loved him in The Hangover, so he gave it a go. A bachelor party trip to Vegas goes horribly wrong as Stu, a cuck wanting to break free, Phil, Riz Supreme, and Ellen, a neurodivergent bachelor, lose the groom, Doug, and can't remember what the hell happened. Antics ensue. I genuinely do love this movie. Everyone I've met IRL also loves it. Competently made, and the performances in this movie truly elevate it as everyone is freaking hilarious. Even Mike Tyson, who shows up. If you put this one on, you're going to be getting and cracking cold ones, except with people on Letterboxd who need to chill the hell out. This is a modern classic. Hell, it is to me. The ending credits of the photos of the night they can't remember, also genius. And with all that success comes sequels, something I'm sure Todd Phillips loves doing, as seen by Joker 2. Yeah, The Hangover 2 is funny as fuck, but it's literally just the first movie in Thailand. That's why I gotta put it in cross-armed pose. The lack of new ideas is just something I can't get behind. And as for The Hangover 3, belt, no further comment. American Pie, belt tier, straight away. Sorry to all my pie heads out there, but this one sucks. My experience watching this movie was actually kinda trippy. I was watching a comedy, I could observe the jokes that were happening, but yet I wasn't laughing. This is a style of humor I just reject. I'm not horny enough, I guess, to appreciate it. I know this is a big movie amongst Gen X, and I know your dad may love this one, but I'm doing you a favor because you will give yourself the belt if you put this one on. This helped usher in the sex comedy phase that did a lot of damage to a lot of people, and I think as a society we need to talk about that one day. Today's not that day, obviously. This one, it ain't for me. I really don't have any more to say. Moving on. The ultimate dad series, Rocky, I'm going to talk about Rocky as a whole sort of loose thing, then I'm going to rank them all. I'll also talk about Creed 1 and 2. The Rocky franchise is freaking huge, man. From the humblest of beginnings, Sly Stallone gave his life and soul for these things to get off the ground. Especially Rocky 1, dude was eating dog food to afford rent. Rejected script buys that weren't gonna give him the lead role, he knew what he had in his hand and sacrificed everything, including selling his dog for money, which he was able to buy back once the films took off. To people who haven't seen the series, you may think it's all boxing, rah-rah. That's what I thought, but to be honest, the boxing is completely secondary to me. Yeah, it's nice to see Rocky achieve his dreams, win the big one and so on, but it's really about the characters, the sacrifices and pain in life you gotta make to make your dreams come true. Whether it's in relationships or the ring, Rocky is battling. A down on his luck guy who didn't think he'd amount to anything is offered a chance, one chance, to fight the world heavyweight champion. He doesn't even want to win. He just wants to make it to the end of the fight without getting KO'd. All while he's interested in a girl named Adrian, who through some potentially problematic processes, makes her his girl. The first Rocky film was a huge success. It won Best Picture, also had huge mainstream appeal, which meant cha-ching, sequel time. The next 5 movies vary in quality. Boxing takes more precedent in some movies than others, but the story rolls on as in each film, Rocky and the various cast of characters have to deal with new life problems. Rocky 2 is a rematch with Apollo Creed. 3, he tackles Clubber Lang. 4 is what you'd think most if you've never seen Rocky, as it's the most showy. The most blockbuster as Rocky takes on Ivan Drago and men's Cold War USSR-USA relations. And 5 is 5. I like parts of this movie, but oh damn, is the ending shit, and I can't believe people died waiting for a sequel to this one. They're a mixed bag, what can I say? If you're personally looking for drama with heart and soul, the first 2 Rockies should be up your alley. By 3, 4, 5, the cat's out of the bag that these things are box office. And I appreciate the way these movies still have the character drama of the first 2, but man, it gets rough by Rocky 5. I'm not complaining about the franchise of this magnitude, turning up the heat. It's just that the difference between Rocky 1 and then 4, it's crazy. Then there's also Rocky 6, known as Rocky Balboa. This was the sequel the fans had been dying for. This was a great way to go out swinging. It was quite literally for the fans and actually surpassed a couple of the originals in ways you wouldn't think could be possible with a sequel that took its sweet ass time to get made. It definitely is not one to skip, I'll tell you that much. It may even have my favorite fight in it, with the final fight that caps off the franchise. So I'm gonna have to go Rocky 1 and 2 in cold one tier, 3 and 6 in firm handshake, 4 in cross-armed pose, sorry, and 5 in heading to the shed, and I think that's all square. If you're a 4 kind of guy, again, I'm sorry. Then even more time passed and we have Creed. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. A lot you can say about Creed has been said about Rocky. There's a lot of similarities, duh, and each movie ramps up the drama. These are solid movies. Does it surpass the originals? No, but they stand on their own. Michael B. Jordan is a worthy successor to Sly, but man, they're gigantic shoes to fill. Time will tell how iconic these films end up being, but no complaints here, man. Creed 1 and 2 both go into firm handshake. I haven't seen 3, so I can't comment. 3 words. Hell yeah, brother. That's all I should be saying about the next movie up. Con Air. 1997, Nicolas Cage, John Malkovich, Steve Buscemi, John Cusack, hell, even Dave Chappelle's here. Can we get much higher? A plane full of prisoners is hijacked. Nicolas Cage is a good man who got 10 years for killing someone in self-defense. He's trying to stop it. What the hell more do you want? This is a classic 90s thrill ride. Do you want a highbrow drama? You want slow mumblecore about life in your 20s? Hell no. What you want and what you're getting is a badass, no-nonsense action thriller that steps on the gas and doesn't let go. I'm not going to talk about sound design, editing, acting. They're all serving a purpose. One purpose, to get the blood pumping, to make you pump your fist, This movie succeeds. That's why I'm going to put this one in cold one tier, and I'll leave it at that, as I believe the best way to enjoy this is to just strap yourself in. No smoking in the aisles, because ladies and gentlemen, you're flying Con Air. Finishing off with the ultimate dad movie, John Wick. Much like a John McClane sort of character, every dad sees himself in John Wick. They may even dream at night of losing everything so they can go on a worldwide rampage. Despite how impossible the odds of that happening are, it's always going to be in the back of their mind. Yes, John Wick is the movie that Joe Rogan puts on to gather strength while he does cardio, but don't let the optics of that put you off. Put these on with your dad and crack a fucking cold one, man. They're not perfect, but have you seen the club scene in John Wick 1? Every frat bro is wax poetic about these movies already, so I'll leave it to those guys. It means a lot more to them than it does to me. Cold one tier, man. And a good place to end the Gen X dad movie tier list. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this helps you pick a movie when it's movie night. Bye.